Today, we're going to dive into the really moving story of a mother named Champa Devi. It's a powerful story, for sure, about family, about wealth, and about a truth that, we sometimes forget. What does love actually look like?
This one sentence from Champa Devi herself, wow, it just hits you right in the gut. It's the core of her whole story. I mean, think about it. 4 sons. She should have been surrounded by love and family, but instead, she found herself completely and totally alone right when she needed them the most. So the big question is, how did it come to this?
All right, so this is where it all begins. Picture this. Champa Devi, she's old, she's frail, her body just aches with constant pain, and she's living all by herself in this tiny little hut. Meanwhile, her 4 sons, they each have their own comfortable homes. One day, the loneliness is just too much to bear, and she decides, that's it. I have to go see my boys.
Can you just imagine her starting this journey? The sun is beating down, the road is long, and every single step is a real struggle for her. But her heart, it's just filled with a mother's hope. She truly believes her sons will be thrilled to see her, that they'll welcome her in with these big open arms. And really, that one single hope is what's pushing her forward. But that physical journey, turns out that was the easy part. The real trial, the emotional one, was just around the corner. And this, right here, is where all that hope she was holding on to begins to just completely fall apart.
So a really devastating pattern starts to form, and it happens fast. She gets to the first son's house, and she's met with this, fake smile and the classic excuse, "Oh, I'm just so busy." Then at the second son's house, it gets even worse. She's treated like she's a total inconvenience. And finally, with the third son, it's just heartbreaking. She's literally hidden away from the rest of the family, given a cot in a dark storeroom. And this slide, it just lays it all out so clearly. The huge gap between what she was hoping for and the cold, hard reality. All she wanted was a little bit of love and care. But what she got was the feeling that she was just a burden. She wanted a sense of belonging, but she was met with pure neglect. Instead of some rest and peace, she was often left hungry, with just her tears to keep her company. And then you get this. Just listen to the coldness in these words from her second son. Please don't feel bad, but it's this kind of polite cruelty, right? A way to shove her off onto someone else without having to feel guilty about it. It's like, in their minds, she wasn't their mother anymore. She was just a problem to be passed along. The final crushing blow comes one night when she overhears her third son and his wife talking, and they're planning how to get rid of her. The plan is to send her to the fourth brother, the poorest one. And in that one moment, she knows. She understands there is no place for her with her wealthy sons. So the next morning, without saying a single word, she just picks up her little bag and leaves. But just when you think all hope is gone, the story takes this incredible turn. Her journey isn't over. She still has one son left to see. He's the one with the least amount of money or things to offer. But as she's about to find out, he has the most to give where it really counts. So up to this point, her journey has been defined by big houses, right? Large, comfortable homes. But they were owned by sons whose hearts had just grown small. Sons who'd forgotten what a mother's love is even worth. But now, she arrives at a totally different kind of place. A small, humble little house with mud walls and a thatched roof. I mean, it's the very picture of poverty. But the welcome she receives inside, it's richer than anything she's experienced so far. The second her fourth son sees her, he runs out, tears in his eyes, and just embraces her. His wife welcomes her with this genuine, warm hug. Her little grandson climbs right into her lap and refuses to let go. And that night, they make her take their only bed while they sleep on the floor. They don't have much food, but whatever they do have, they share it with so much joy. And her grandson's simple words, "Grandma, don't you go anywhere now." That says everything. In this tiny, poor home, she's not a burden. She is a beloved grandmother. She is finally home. And for the first time on this whole long journey, Champa Devi's tears aren't from sorrow. They're tears of pure joy. So Champa Devi lives happily with her fourth son and his family for many, many years. But this story, it has one last pretty amazing twist. A secret she's been holding on to this whole time. Surrounded by all this love and real care, Champa Devi lives out her final years in total peace. But, time eventually takes its toll, and her body gets weak.
Her daughter-in-law serves her day and night. So on her deathbed, with her loving son and daughter-in-law right there with her, she reveals her secret. She tells them that she has a hidden treasure, and that her entire journey to each of their homes, well, it was a test. It was her way of finding the one child who loved her for who she was, not for what they thought they could get from her. Her final words are instructions. She tells her fourth son to go back to that old abandoned hut and dig in a certain corner. She tells him he'll find her life savings there, a whole chest of gold and jewels that have been passed down for generations. And it was all for him. He was the one who had passed her test of love.
Now, even with Champa Devi's passing, the story doesn't really end there. In fact, you could say her real legacy is just getting started, and it leaves us with a lesson that's pretty hard to forget.
Just as she said, her son finds the treasure. But as he's looking at all this gold and all these jewels, he gets it. This isn't just money to go spend. It's a legacy. It's the physical proof of his mother's love, a reward for choosing compassion when his brothers chose convenience.
So what does he do with all this wealth? He doesn't hoard it. He doesn't go buy a mansion. No, he uses it to fix up their little home, to make sure his own son gets a great education, and, this is the best part, he starts helping the other poor people in his village, really carrying on his mother's spirit of love. And of course, you can guess what happens next. When the news about the treasure gets out, the other three sons come running. They're filled with regret, not because of how they treated their mother, but because of the fortune they missed out on. But it was way, way too late. They failed the only test that ever really mattered. And this really brings us to what this whole story is about. It's a simple truth, but one that can get so easily lost in our busy lives. Our parents aren't a burden that we have to manage. They are, without a doubt, the greatest treasure we will ever have. You know, Champa Devi's story isn't just a story. It's kind of like a mirror. It asks us to take a hard look at our own lives, at our relationships with our parents and our elders, and to ask ourselves a really simple but deep question. How are we taking care of our greatest treasure?